The nice thing about this knife is that you can cut anything that you want with it. For example, see how easily it goes through this piece of prime rib here. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure out a particular amount of this prime rib. So again, using these little wax paper guys that are so handy, trimming this up, that may actually turn out to be a couple of meals, and weighing it out at 3.5 ounces, which turns out to be exactly what that is, and trim up this other piece here and take some of the fat off of it. Saturated fat, which is what you find on a piece of meat, is basically solid at room temperature. Where if you take an olive oil, it's not solid at room temperature. It's not a saturated fat. It's an unsaturated fat. So consequently, butter is a saturated fat. It's solid at room temperature. Olive oil, or any of the other seed oils, vegetable oils, and so forth, which are not solid, are basically not saturated. Here's another piece here, just slightly over. So I'm going to just take another little corner off of that. And now see where we are with it. Another perfect piece. So another mistake that many people make when they are going from one particular thing, say mom wants beef, dad wants fish, somebody else wants chicken, is that besides washing your hands, you need to wash your utensils. Either that or you need to have multiple utensils to use. Because otherwise what happens is that you're taking raw food from one area, like chicken or fish, and spreading it over to the other raw food area. And the big no-no is to spread it to something that wouldn't be cooked, say a salad, or something that you would be going to consume without any heat added to it that might kill any bacteria. So in this particular case, I've washed it, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to clean it up because I've just cut the prime rib with it. So let's go over here and we'll change out the paper. Again, throw it away. And come up with another one of these wonderful knives. Maybe make a little additional spot here on the plasticized cutting board so that we can cut some chicken. And again, we're looking for about 3.5 ounces. Throw one of our handy dandy little wax paper guys on there. And there we are. That's just a little bit shy. So I'll give it a little bit more. Because at 3.5 ounces of protein, there we go, we're right on the money now. And if you have, you can keep this to make a chicken salad, to be able to, put it on a griddle or a grill and cook it and slice it up and put it on a lunch salad. And where the other one, you could keep a lot of the smaller pieces to do that with. Now the last thing we want to do, again, wash your hands in between. I know it's simple, it's a little bit boring, but the deal is it's a lot healthier that way because so many foodborne illnesses are created because people just don't do the right things in their house. They don't do it in the restaurants either. At least in California, there is a requirement that somebody in the restaurant has been through a hygiene course and is responsible for all the hygiene in the restaurant. And the health inspector will come by to make sure those guys have done their job and they're up to date with things. But nobody does that at home, and it's very important to do. So what we're looking for here is we have a piece of salmon. And again, we're looking for approximately 3.5 ounces of the salmon. And I'm just cutting this right in the package. Here's something that might be just a slight bit over, and it's over by about 1/8 of a pound. So we'll just trim off a little end of that, leave it back over here in the package. Now with salmon, if you have a large family, a large amount of that will work. But if you don't have a large family, you're going to have to buy smaller parts of it. And it's oftentimes best to actually ask your fellow at the fish market or the fellow at the meat market to actually cut these things to the sizes that you want them, so you're not having to take every meal and figuring it out. Because we're all busy. And because we're all so busy, a lot of times that's what costs us in terms of our health because we end up in a fast food place. And the fast food is supersized, and it's a lot more than what you need, and it's also a lot of carbohydrates. And carbohydrates stimulate insulin. Insulin creates fat, and that's where we end up with a lot of fat people.